everybody, Jean here with part 4 of the evidence thus far of remnants of an ancient civilization on Mars, or that's my hypothesis. Part 5 will be a lot shorter, I can assure you. Some bonus material that we'll delve into over there. It is me, yes, I know the hair's a lot shorter. What can I say, the lawnmower won the tussle. Right, so the first anomaly we're looking at in part 4 is this huge cave entrance I found on Mars, and it's about 400 meters wide, and next to it seems to be another opening, like a supporting structure over here to the right. Very strange. And then there's definitely a mound of soil over here in front of it. Check it, the shadow that's being cast. So could that be from it being hollowed out? Is this an entranceway to a cave, or maybe a cover to some dome-like structure underneath? Very similar to one that we found in Antarctica here on Earth. And there it is, top view. Got the opening over here and a saucer dome-like shape on the top, and that has a diameter of about let's see, 40 meters or so. There are the coordinates. I go check that out. I checked this out yesterday, and this is a crop from that image that's still available in Google Earth. This is it, rotated 90 degrees anti-clockwise. So check out that dome-like structure on the top. Definitely looks artificial. And then the thing, this is what I call it, I don't know what else to make of this, near the North Pole of Mars. It's about 20 meters long and about 8 meters wide, just next to this sort of crevice in the surface, that fracture. There it is up close, and what do we make of this? It looks like a type of a slug creature. Not that it is, but yeah, check that out. Not sure how this formed. It looks like the sunlight is coming in from this direction. So this looks like something sticking out of this oval opening, casting that shadow, or it's a trick of light and the light's coming in from this side. So let me know what you guys and girls make of this one. Right there, next to this fracture. And then this broken statue and sculpture pieces found on Mars. This globe or round object over there is about 20 meters in diameter, and it consists of this like spherical object. It's got this plate on the one side. It's also got a curvature to it. Check it, the straight edges on it. It looks highly artificial, and then it's sort of mounted to the left of this, almost looks like a wrecking ball. Look at the sort of spikes on it. Rather unusual object. It reminds me of the artwork, the globe-like structure at the University of Richmond. Also has these sort of plates mounted onto the ball. And then we're looking at this 20-meter diameter dome-like object from weird structure found on Mars, and it's partially covered in sand. Check that out. We've got this circular structure. It looks like grids. Check that out. Get the spacing between these. We can see 1, 2, 3, 4 continues over there. Some symmetry and geometry in that design. It reminds me of this conceptual design of a transit hub here on Earth. Also have the parts sticking out at equal distances. Check that out. Looks almost like there's a bridge connecting the top of that dome-like object over there. Right, then we're looking at what looks like some type of wreckage. That piece is about, let's see, 15 meters, 10 meters to 15 meters in diameter. Strange craft-like objects and more found on Mars. And up close, check that out. It's got two sort of bevels or ridge lines on it. Very similar to this piece from part 1 of the series. So it has two bevels on it. Some type of wreckage. Who knows what that is? Another solitary piece over here from the same blog and YouTube video. And it's about 10 to 15 meters in diameter. And it looks like a strange craft. Something out of Alien. Check that out. Weird dome-like structure in the center. This piece spiraling around it with a rectangular opening over there on that one side. Looks like some type of machinery. It's about 10 meters across. And there it is, zoomed in. Get the circular opening over there. Looks almost like a jet engine, something like that. Right, then we're looking at this weird sculpted piece over there. I don't know what else to call it. It's too huge to be a craft or something like that. It's about 500 meters across, and it's got like these sort of pincers on each side. Check that out. And also has symmetry and geometry in that design. Well, what could that be? Artifacts in Cerberus fossae on Mars revealed. Check out that rectangular object there in the center. That's about 20 meters long, and it seems to have a opening here on the side, like two parts to it as well. And that opening is, let's see, about 4 by 4 meters. We've got something sticking out of it there. At this layer on top, the parallel lines to it. Strange design in that object over there. Very similar to those featured in part 3 of the series. So it looked like these container or structure type anomalies with something sticking out of each. Okay, there we're looking at another one of these partial hexagonal designs. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sides visible over there, and again each side is about 8 meters long, just like all the others that we had a look at in the series. Well defined edges, nice angle over there. The examples from part 2 of the series. That out, we got commonality going on there again, guys. Okay, check out this relics west of Aonia Mons. We've got this slab lying over there that's about 20 meters across by about 10 meters wide, and on top of it placement of 3 protrusions or parts in a triangle. Again, there are some other examples, part 1 and these part 3 of this series. So also a very common feature on Mars, still from the same area. This is about let's see, 15 meters wide, and this piece sticking out there, that's about 12 by 5 meters. Get the straight edges to it, right angle, So sticking out of this larger piece. Very similar to this one from part 3 of this series. So I have this rectangular piece sticking out of a larger object. And we're going to be looking at evidence of mining activity on Mars, question mark. Zoomed out, not to scale, check out this, totally out of place. And the surface feature is about, let's see, 30 meters wide. And we've got parallel sides there, like this has been carved into the surface. As another example, this is about, let's see, 15 to 20 meters wide, about 50 meters long. It's also this rectangular feature that's been, what looks like it's been carved into the surface of Mars. And then this huge triangular shape also cut into the surface. And you can see from the scale indicator, this is huge. Looks like this side of the triangle has been eroded away. And then this from bad water, that's what NASA calls it. Look at the rectangles and squares in these hollowed out areas. That's about 200 by 200 meters. Got what looked like connecting roads, maybe even foundations of an ancient city. And this is just one of the parts of this JP2 I'm showing you here. Got symmetry and geometry in these squares and rectangles. Plenty of right angles and parallel lines. Right, then we're in the usual Neolithic suspects in Moreau, and we're looking at another disk over there. And it has a diameter of about 12 meters, so partially covered in sand towards the bottom left, just like so many of those that I've featured before. Part 2, that huge disk, 12 meters wide. Also from part 2, this one's about 10 meters wide, and that one there from part 2, and I think it's about 8 meters wide. Okay, another little obelisk type anomaly over there, and it's about, let's see, 12 meters long, and the one side over there, that's about 5 meters wide. You can see two of the sides. This one side over here, partially hollowed out. It's got a little protrusion there in the bottom. Very similar to this one from part 2, also comes up to a point. And this one from part 2, look at the parallel lines on this thing. Smooth, flat surfaces. And then another triangular object over there from part 2. Also has perfect symmetry and geometry in it. Huge disk west of Ross on Mars. And that disk is about, let's see, 14 meters in diameter, and the protrusion in its center is about 1.5 meters to 2 meters across. Some other disks that are very similar, check out this one over here. These are from part 1 of this series. Okay, here's another quarter disk shape over there. This is from part 1, more artifacts west of Ross on Mars, and that piece over there is about 12 meters across. And it's also got a nice arc to it over there to the right, and then straight sides over here, something mounted to it over there. It looks slightly bent, like it's concave there in shape, and two dots just across this part over here. This piece over here looks like some type of machinery or tech, maybe even some type of wreckage. Check out the little winglet or whatever it is over there. This piece is about 15 meters across, and this little part sticking out there, that's about 4 by 4 meters, and just above it we have what looks like a circular opening over there. Another part over there. I wonder if it's somehow connected to this piece, and we've got this part on the top. Look at how it's got this rounded shape to it. Okay, and then this, it looks like a strange cactus. That piece is about 15 meters long. Got the long part to it, and then typical of a cactus, we've got this one part coming off the side, parallel to the main piece. Not that it is a cactus, guys, but check it that. How unusual is that? And then this part, we've seen something similar in part 3, and this is still with part 1, more artifacts west of Ross, and that part there is about 15 by 12 meters. Look at the rectangular shape that's been carved into it over there. It's straight edges and a right angle. And there's one that's similar, as I say, from part 3. So I have this rectangular piece that's been hollowed out of it over here. And then a giant standing monolith or megalith that's about 20 meters tall by about 8 meters wide, and on the face of it we've got what looks like a carving or glyph of an eye. Look at this, it's like a three-sided megalith or monolith, who knows what to call that. And there's some others that I'll show you as well, more glyphs of what look like eyes. Check out this piece, part 2, more artifacts west of Ross on Mars, and this piece is about 12 meters across, and on it we've got what looks like a eye that's been carved into it. Check that out. There's another one, this is from part 2, and then this one we just featured. Then strange structure over there. That piece is about 5 meters wide by about 10 meters long, and it's got 2 sides that are bent down at equal angles. Very similar to this one from part 1 of the series. Also the 2 sides are bent down. And then I thought I'd throw in this one also from part 1. Okay, then this strange object over there. Haven't seen anything like it yet. So this is one of a kind for now, thus far. It's also from part 2, more artifacts west of Ross. And it's about 15 meters long by about 5 meters wide. Get the edge over here. Very well defined, pristine edge to it. It's almost like it's convex in design. Something sticking out over there. Another one of these almost rectangular parts, parallel sides to it. Okay, huge dome over there, which is about 12 meters across, and there it is rotated a bit, give you an idea of the geometry in this, and there it is zoomed in, and it seems to be right there in the center of this hollowed out piece. Got these two parts on each side, and it's located right there in the center. And then this totally out of place piece over there, that's about 15 by 10 meters, and it's got strange markings on it again, with like a little pyramidal feature there, and then 4 dots arranged in an arc over here, and then a weird little triangular part jointed there. And there's some others with these markings on them. This one's from part 3, get that circular pattern there. Another object over here from part 2 with a circular pattern on it, and this one also from part 2, we've got the 3 dark spots in a triangle. So are these some type of markings that have been placed here for a reason we don't know yet, or is it just natural geology? I doubt it. There's just too much symmetry and geometry in these designs. And then this huge wheel that my friend Saturn Arc found, maybe it's even a piece of a column or pillar. This disc or wheel has a diameter of about 8 meters, and if we zoom in we can see the disc shape. Looks like there's another one behind it, and then on the face we've got what looks like a 5-point star. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points to it. And this is another wheel-like anomaly featured in part 2 of the series. Okay, then we're looking at this strange structure here. Return to Copernicus on Mars, and we've got 2 discs over there. That disc there has a diameter of about 6 meters, and this one, which is perpendicular to that one, also the same size, and then it seems to be part of this rectilinear structure, the right angles, and then this funny V shape sticking out on the one side. There's another similar structure there. This is from part 2 of the series. Also have the right angles of the supporting structure underneath, and then 2 discs on it. There's another disc that looks very similar to that one over there, also from part 2 of the series. Also from Return to Copernicus on Mars, this piece over here, and it's about 12 meters across, and what's unusual about it is the 90-degree angles. Straight edges, parallel to one another, and it seems to be elevated off the surface. Looks like there's a supporting piece over there with an opening over here. So could that be some type of ventilation system, underground entranceway, or some wreckage or debris? This looks like a little structure over here as well that's collapsed in on itself, and that's about 20 by 25 meters. This piece here, 20 by 25, and look at the straight edges again, right angle. It's got this curved design with these strange pieces over here. Look at the shape over here. And then next to it, we've got a square block or slab with another one of these triangular designs on it. And then this, what looks like a collapsed structure in Leo is Sin. My friend Saturn Arc discovered this. It's got like a disc shape over there on the top, which measures about 25 meters across, and then blocks around it. Look at the circular design. And then we've got blocks that have been cut to mount next to it. And then these megalithic blocks that have collapsed in on itself. Looks almost like it might have been some type of little temple. Check it, this disc crashed classic flying saucer spotted in Timaeus on Mars, question mark. Another disc over there. Okay, this one has a diameter of about, let's see, 15 meters, and the smaller round part in its center has a diameter of about 4 meters. It's also buried to the bottom left of the disc, and the top right sticks out. And there's some others from part 1. Let me show you some more linkages and comparisons. Strange megalithic block or slab over there from the same video and blog post. That there's about 12 by 20 meters, and it's got straight edges once again, right angle in front of it, this sort of plectrum shaped object, elliptical object. Okay, then there's another megalithic slab or block there from part 1 of the series, also the part in front of it. It's another very common design feature on Mars. And then this weird butterfly shaped object there, this is from part 1, the curious enigma of Timaeus on Mars. And that piece there's about 18 meters across, about 5 meters wide, and through the center line we've got the 2 rounded parts on either side, some symmetry in this design, and a triangular part to the one side through the center line. And then this funny object over there looks like a little craft. I don't know what to make of these things. That's about 10 by 10 meters, and zoomed up you can see like a ridge or bevel going through there, and then on each side we've got the rounded parts. It's almost like wings, similar to this one I featured in part 1, found in Kotka. Still part 1, curious enigma of Timaeus. We've got interlocking parts again. Many of these featured already. I'll show you some more. This is about 12 by 10 meters, the classic L-shaped part with the smaller block that fits in on the one side, and protrusion over there. Now check those out from part 3, and this one here from part 2. L-shape, smaller block, same over here, and this one slightly elevated. Yeah, to the right we've got a very strange layout or little structure that's about 15 by 20 meters. We've got the 2 outside pieces, they look almost like sleeves, And then in the middle we've got a block and a strange circular design there. Looks almost like the letter C, or like a horseshoe shape to it. Okay, then this totally out of place item, also from part 1, Curious Enigma of Timaeus. That rectangular object is about 18 meters long by about 5 or 6 meters wide, with the line going through the center here, parallel to this one side, and we've got 90 degrees again. Check those out. Dark spots on it. These look like they could be openings. And then this strange piece there, that's about 4 by 12 meters. It's almost like a fossilized bone, or like a spoon, shape of a spoon hollowed out, and these straight parts over there. Very similar to this one from More High Strangeness from Mars, and that there is about 100 meters long, and then this part over here is about 40 meters long. Looks almost like a giant ore that's lying there on that ridge. Check it, the shape over here, so it looks slightly hollowed out. The straight piece, similar to this. And then this part sticks out like a sore finger. Inside that circular depression, got a triangular structure at the bottom, a little pyramidal feature in the center. And each side of that base structure is about 12 by 12 meters. Check that out. And here are some similar concepts from part 3, just a couple of examples. Also we have the triangular parts in the centers of larger pieces. So now here is very similar to that one. This is from part 2, the Curious Enigma of Timaeus. We've got a megalithic slab and 2 blocks placed diagonally across it, and that piece is about 15 by 10 meters, and across the diagonal we've got these 2 blocks, similar to this one from part 3, as well as this example from part 3 of the series. Also we have the block, and through the diagonal on top we have a rectangular piece. And also there another very weird, very strange layout. That cube measures about 4 by 4 meters, and on each side we have these 2 supporting structures. And if you draw a middle line through there, we've got perfect symmetry and geometry again. And there's another example featured in this episode. We've got supporting structure and smaller parts in the center. Okay, in this photograph we're looking at these anomalies down here, and that strange part there is about 8 meters across. Looks like a little Space Invader from the classic Space Invaders game. Also symmetry in this design. I wonder if that's some type of fossil. Another row of 3 objects over there. Check out that, looks like another one of those container designs with a square opening. Another triangular object over there. This is from part 3, the Curious Enigma of Timaeus, and that part is about 8 by 4 meters. So it has a triangular design, almost like a little obelisk, and straight edges parallel to one another, and then at the apex we've got that small little dome. So some similar ones, more examples. This we featured a little earlier in this episode, and this is from part 2. A strange disk-like anomaly is from part 3, the curious enigma of Tanais on Mars, and it has a diameter of about 15 meters. But it's very curious. It's got a rectangular part on the left and a rounded part on the right. Looks like that could be a circular hole over there, and it has a dome in the center, very similar to this again, but I wonder why it has this rectangular part on the side. Part 4, the curious enigma of Tanais. We've got this little object there, measures about 4 by 8 meters. This part to the left has like a T-shaped design to it, similar to this piece from part 1 of this series. Also has like a T-shape to it. This over here looks like some type of structure again. That piece over there is about 10 meters across, and it's got straight edges, right angles, and on top an oval object in its center, and it seems to be elevated on the right with this oval part sticking out there. More wreckage or debris, or maybe a little outpost. Similar one over there that we featured earlier in this episode. Another one of these little structures, still with part 4, the curious enigma of Tanais. We've got the structure with 2 parts slanted down to the surface, and this piece is about 12 by 5, and on top we've got another piece, looks like sheet metal, another piece over there, same shape as these 2 examples. That one over there is very similar to that. Now we at part 5, the curious enigma of Tanais on Mars. Multiple layers in that structure over there, which is about 12 meters across. And I'll show you some more examples. Got the piece on top, looks like a donut shaped object in its center, and a rounded part on the one side. And there's another example. This is from part 3, as well as this structure over here. Look at these strange protrusions or knobs on this piece. That measures about 12 by 15 meters, and through the center we've got these protrusions or knobs. Get the size and the spacing. And there's a similar one over here, so about the same size, and it also has these protrusions or knobs on it. Looks almost like a ribbed design. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on this side as well, right through the center over there. And there's some other examples. This is from part 2 of this series. And then this dome-shaped structure west of Peripalcon on Mars, and it's about 12 meters across. Next to what looks like a Stonehenge type anomaly over there. Another one of those classic scarab beetle type anomalies, arranged in a circular pattern around a smaller object in the center. But check out this dome-like structure. You can see a triangular opening in it, and these dark spots, I wonder if those could be vents or windows, and on top of it a little dome-like feature there. I wonder if that's also a little vent, I don't know. And then this, an archaeologist's treasure trove found on Mars. This object over there is about 15 meters long by about 10 meters wide, consisting of two parts, separating line, and near the line we've got that smaller protrusion. Just like those that featured previously, there's another one. Part 1, artifacts east of Mars 3 lander on Mars. We've got another one, 2 parts, a little protrusion in the center. That piece there is about 12 meters long by about 8 meters wide. You can see the 2 parts, the separating line, and the little spherical part or feature there in the center. And there they are for you to compare. Another one of these little critters looks like a little space invader from the game Space Invaders. It's got a disc and a little part coming off the one side. That there's about, let's see, 8 meters in diameter, and the part sticking off to the left, and on top of it got little protrusions or knobs arranged in a circular pattern, very similar to this disc over here from part 2. Also has a part sticking off to the left, and then this one over here also has this part coming off to the bottom right. Look at this, another one of these domes, and that is about 8 meters in diameter. There it is up close. It's standing on top of a larger circular base structure, and there it is, showing you the similarity to the other dome-like object I featured earlier in this episode. This is also a very weird looking structure over there. It's about 20 meters wide, and each of the 2 balls over there, or spheres, is about 4 meters in diameter. There's a little square object there, the 2 spherical objects, smaller parts here to the right, and then the 2 sleeve-like containing structures on either side, very similar to that one from Timaeus. This also looks like some type of wreckage, like a metal, like sheet metal, partially raised off the surface. This is from part 2, artifacts east of Mars 3 lander on Mars, and that part is about 15 meters wide. On top of it, a little dome, elevated on the bottom right, but these pieces sticking out of the opening. And there are 2 other examples for you to compare with. these two pieces over here look like megalithic slabs, maybe even metal plates. That one over here is about 12 meters long. And we've got two pieces. This piece is lying on top of this part. So that's about 12 meters long. Get the straight edges again and right angles to it. Still part 2, artifacts east of Mars 3 lander. We've got another multiple sided object over there, and it's about 8 meters wide. We can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides to it. On the top in its center we've got that protrusion or knob. Very similar in design to this one featured in part 2 of this current series. Also have the multiple sides to it. Also have smaller protrusions in the center over there. Look at the piles of rubble in this area over here. We're going to be zooming in on this one and this one over here. This one consists of multiple little blocks, but check out the 3 larger parts over there. Each one has protrusions on it, and this one over here has got 3, and it's also in a triangular pattern on top of that. A row of blocks going through here, and then this collapsed structure or junk pile, the way these blocks have been shaped or cut so they can fit next to one another. And then we've got another block with the protrusion in its center. This one over here also seems to have a protrusion there. Very similar to the blocks of the Wrens in South America. And there they are for you to compare. So yeah, utter devastation once again. Yeah, we're looking at 2 parts again, a separating line and a small part in the center. And that there's about 12 meters wide. You can see we've got the 2 parts, a separating line and a connecting anomaly in the center. And again, these are similar ones. These 2 are from part 3. Interlocking parts over here, and that there's about 10 meters wide. We've got a rectangular part to the top, another L-shaped piece there, and a small block that fits into that square that's been cut into this piece. Just like these 2 examples from part 3 of this current series. Now we're at a Mars high-rise epic, anomalies galore. These 3 slabs or metal plates, who knows what these are. That one there measures about 10 by 10 meters, and we've got layers of them over here. We've got 3 next to one another. And now we've got similar examples. Also from a Mars high-rise epic, we've got what looks like a collapsed or toppled Mayan statue. My friend John McGavick brought this one to my attention. The head measures about 25 meters tall by about 20 meters wide. And I'm going to zoom in and rotate it. You can see the head over there, the 2 eyes, the nose, the mouth, the 1 ear, and the body over here. Also seems to have like a little triangular design over there on the forehead. That concludes this 4-part series. I hope you found it informative and interesting. Let me know in the comments below what you make of my hypothesis. that we looked at remnants of an ancient civilization on Mars, one that was totally devastated in the past. You can see signs of multiple catastrophes that hit the surface of Mars in the distant past. Please share the series with your friends and like-minded people. We really got to get this information out to a larger audience. I don't know how we're going to do it. With the shadow banning going on YouTube and Google, I don't know what else to do. I'm going to be doing a short little special edition bonus of this current series, so do stay tuned for that one. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Hit the notifications bell and click on all. That way you'll know when I upload my next video. Thanks for watching this series, guys and girls. I know it was a very, very long one. I needed to get this info out there. I consider this disclosure on my part. Take care and be safe, everybody. See you then. Bye-bye for now.